Robbie, biking indoors versus moving outdoors. At this time of the year, do we need to adjust or expect power zones, especially in hilly areas like North Fulton, Georgia? I'm not changing your zones depending on the elevation or the hills that you have. Power is a constant. You change based on you change your cadence based on the power you're supposed to maintain. She is on here because I see her head bobbing up and moving. I was just mentioning this, and I think I mentioned this topic specifically in kind of the description email, but if you are going to be able to get outside consistently and you use a power meter, it is a great time to get outside and readjust, because I've been over this a few times. It might be the first time you're hearing it, or it might be the 19th time you're hearing it, but your power outside is going to be, for some of you, significantly higher than inside. And that's why it's very, very important to ride outside as much as you can, especially leading up to race day, because the watts or the zones and the effort level that you associate with a specific watt is going to be insanely different. Jenny Macklin, case in point, she rode outside like last Friday, I think it was, and noticed that her intensity factor was significantly higher than normal. And I said, if you're going to keep riding outside, then we need to kind of go ahead and do an FTP test outside, because it's going to change everything. And so she went outside, I think it was, yesterday. And I told her to kind of just rip through a 20-minute if she was feeling it, and she ripped through it instead of doing intervals. And we bumped up her FTP from 122 to 155, which is a substantial increase. Now, the thing about increases and going outside is that you think, oh, yes, have you gotten stronger? Likely. It's just very, very hard to show inside. You don't have the grip of the tire on the road. You might get some elevation from your fancy setup, but nothing is going to equate to outside. Nothing. So if you can get outside on flat to rolling road and you want to rip off a 20-minute all out, then do it. And I'll adjust your FTP, because it is going to be significant for most of you, significantly different in what you're riding inside. It's just so much harder to produce power inside from a mental and emotional standpoint, but it's also physically harder to produce it inside. And you need to know those numbers, because from going from a 122 to a 155 is somewhere, whatever, in between like a 20 to 25% increase. You know, that's different, especially if you're going by a structured workout with zones. So you want to make sure you're on the intended target. What I don't want you to do is go find a hill and go 20 minutes up the hill, because then what's going to happen is your FTP is going to be significantly inflated, because it is so much easier to ride up a very, very long hill and produce we've all done it. We're like, man, I'm cranking out some like really high watts and I feel okay. It's just the extra leverage. It's the angle that your bike is at versus the angle of the road. It's just a lot easier. So if you can find a rolling to flat route, have at it. But great question.